Okay, it's about to drop. Shop now. Shop now.
12 o'clock.
We're in. Oh, we're in. Whenever you're ready, that's showbiz, baby.
Welcome to Off With Their Headlines. I am your co-host, Amanda Matta, joined by the stripy business casual Meredith Constant. She takes this seriously.
We have to do a button down in honor of the release of Meghan's second season. It's only right.
Yeah, it's a momentous day as we are recording. The second season of With Love Meghan is premiering on Netflix. A new As Ever restock just dropped. There's orange marmalade, folks, as of now. Still in stock.
Orange marmalade. That was not in key.
For your listening pleasure, here is a clip from 10 minutes ago as Meredith and I shopped the live As Ever restock. She said they went from 10,000 units to 1 million units, at least for jars and lids. So
okay, I'm in. We got flour sprinkles. We got shortbread cookies.
I got nothing.
We got crepe mix. Oh, girl, I'm in. Wait, is there no jam?
Orange! It's orange marmalade. I was right.
Where are you seeing this?
At the top of my... I'm going to order two.
I see the marmalade. I'm not a marmalade person.
I love orange marmalade.
Somebody
was like,
raspberry.
I think it's peach, but we already had apricot.
Peach. It can't be peach. Marmalade makes sense for the season we're moving into.
All right, I'm just ordering 2 marmalades. Maybe some more flowers? No, not some more.
Nah.
I think that's it for me. Which is fair. Well, you are getting your apricot spread in the mail.
I'm getting that. And the teas, I still feel like the teas, I could get tea anywhere.
You can get tea anywhere. It won't be the exact one, but like a mint tea is a mint tea, in my opinion. All right. $25 for 2 marmalades and shipping.
Lady Marmalade. That should have been one of their promos.
Well, that would have given too much away.
I guess that's true. Well, they should do it right now. I'm just saying. I come with free. So is that okay? So I'm refreshing just to kind of see what's going on here.
I'll be so mad if they add more. I don't think they'll add more stuff. I think it's still just the core collection.
I think this is the core stuff. I think we just have to get used to the fact that the jams are really seasonal. I'm just paying attention to see how quickly everything sells out.
Maybe it'll stay in stock. I don't know.
That was the whole point, was to scale up.
We can check back later in the episode.
We're back in
the magic of editing.
That was something.
Wait, the raspberry spread is back on the website as coming soon. As coming soon.
No. Do you
Why
think
is this so chaotic?
Do you think they did that thing again where someone forgot to block the widget? Wait, raspberry spread.
They added the widget back onto the okay.
Get notified. Hold on.
I was about to say, I love for As Ever that we are headed in the direction of having a core collection that it seems will always be in stock. The raspberry spread should be one of those things. And it's frustrating Meredith in particular that it is always
now I'm just
being
mad that
teased.
I didn't order more of it right away. If you do want to have a conversation about the As Ever drop, what you scored, talk about the new season of With Love Meghan, or the Bloomberg interview that is much discussed across the internet, we do have a Patreon for that. Patreon.com/offwiththeirheadlines. It is free to join. This is a post for free and paid subscribers. So join for free, get in the conversation, keep it cool. It's a place where you can talk about this without having to fight trolls about, if it's a jam or a spread or a marmalade, or the Daily Mail writing, 25 heinously expensive things that they caught in the kitchen that is not Meghan's or whatever. It's a safe space for that. So definitely go and check that out.
It's a space where not everything is treated as a scathing attack on the royal family, too. Because I think that's the least interesting part of this Bloomberg interview in particular. And in that spirit,
I totally agree. And I also just wanted to add to your point that this is also a place where we can talk about Meghan's business ventures, and we can do so in a way without having to preface, I really love and support a lot of what Meghan does.
It takes so much time to do that every time I want to have these conversations. So yeah, the Patreon community, it's really great. You can join over there for free to access those discussions. You can also get new episodes early and ad-free every single week, as well as bonus episodes. We have mailbag conversations over there. And I will also say, what did I want to say? Video. And video. There's also video. We are off to a flying start today. Whoop. One last thing I want to note. Both Meredith and I will probably be writing Substack newsletters on the interview with Meghan from Bloomberg. So go check out Meredith at Pulling Threads with Meredith Constant on Substack. And myself, I am at The Fascinator on Substack. So those newsletters should be out by the time you're listening to this. But now on with the show. So we like to start out with just a little bonkers media choice. And this was a choice made by the royal media. Meredith,
thank you. Because I said on, I guess maybe it was Sunday, God, I wonder what we're going to talk about. Silly season is really driving us down. But then Kate rolls up in maybe new-ish blonde hair. And the gift that keeps on giving.
Did you see it wasn't the headline, but like the social tagline for this story? Peroxide Princess.
Okay, guys, we're getting out of hand with alliteration.
Peroxide Princess.
Why? Why would you do that?
I don't know. But yeah, we're talking about Kate's blonde hair today, and Meredith informed me no fewer than 3 Daily Mail reporters were dispatched to cover this transformation.
And not just that, we have senior reporters too. So a lot of people needed to be pulled in on the story because it's a lot of moving pieces. Exclusive. Sorry. I don't know what's exclusive. Headline: How Kate Middleton's summer, in quotations, spent in the sun on yacht, end quotations, has transformed her look. First of all, sick burn, because they want you to remember, hey, by the way, we talked about the fact that they were on a yacht. We didn't talk about Queen Camilla being on a yacht, but we talked about William and Kate.
The staunchest of royalist fans, their new thing is, well, we don't even know if they were on the yacht because there are no pictures. How do you even know? It could be just the media. It's like, okay, well, if I apply this lens to every other thing you've been outraged over when it comes to the Sussexes, like, you have no leg to stand on. It's interesting that this is the time when we draw a line in the Greek island sand.
Also, is it that there are no photos, or that they know better than to try to sell the photos to British outlets? Because, for example, that ski trip that happened a couple of months ago, a French magazine, I believe, bought the photos that the British magazines and tabloids and newspapers would not touch. And actually, really quickly before we get into this is kind of the perfect time to answer a question that we got online.
Oh, please, please.
It is from Victoria. She is having the best questions. Here's what she asked. Yesterday, we saw the British media post pap pics of the Waleses, including the kids, in a car on the way to the church. For some reason, I thought the British media agreed not to post unauthorized pap pics of the RF. So does that mean these pics were a setup? I'm so confused on how sometimes they are allowed to post pap pics, but sometimes they're not. Like they refused to post the car pics during the Where's Kate era. So I dug into this a bit.
First of all, what we're talking about is this past weekend, the Wales family joined King Charles and Queen Camilla and other members of the royal family at Balmoral, where on Sunday they all go to church at Crathie Kirk, which is like near the royal residence. And there are pictures pretty much every time Charles and Camilla go to church. So it's pretty much every weekend. You'll see pictures of them in the car. And this week, because they were joined by other members of the family, there were pictures of Will, Kate, and the kids. There was also like I don't know what the word would be, like a Scottish military band, like lining the road to the church.
Okay.
So this was an event, but the pictures were very much giving pap pictures. So that's just for context.
Very important context. I know. So the first thing I did is I looked on different websites and outlets to see who is getting the photo credit. And it's different individuals. And it's, for the most part, attributed to Getty or PA Images, which, where they get the photos and sell the photos through. So it's a lot of individuals. So I reached out to some people and asked around. And what I found out was the general consensus is that photos of royals leaving the gates of their residence have always been fair game. So that's why you'll see them in the car and stuff. But if you think about it, you never see them out and about. You never really see Kate popping into a shop or things like that. You'll see them in the cars or when they do the walkabouts. So generally the consensus or the agreement between the British media and the paparazzi are, once you're out of the gates in the car, fair game, which is why we saw this photo and why it was okay to post it.
Very interesting. And it's not like somebody with a cell phone, which ostensibly is the category that I guess they were back grid pictures of Carol and Kate in the car. Ostensibly, those were third-party, unlicensed, unsanctioned pictures. The understanding with these is that they are at least somewhat sanctioned. There's an understanding that these pictures will be taken, which is why somebody asked me, why is Kate giving face the way she is if she's just driving to church, because she knows there are cameras.
She knows.
She knows the angles. She knows she's being photographed. Like, she's smiling and she's got her hair blonde under a nice little pillbox hat. Like, this was an event, even though it was a private family event.
Yeah, and that's what this article focuses on, this hard-hitting article, which goes into...
I'm so sorry.
Peroxide Princess is so funny. Speaking to the Daily Mail, experts have claimed that the mother of three's blonder locks may also be the result of spending more time in the sun than usual.
Fake news. Fake news.
The sun doesn't turn your hair blonde.
No.
If you grew up in the 2000s, you were a teen in the 2000s, you remember sun in, okay?
Sun in, I was just going to say.
Sun in and a dream, okay?
I need Kate to be advertising sun in the way that Peter Phillips advertised milk. I think that's the next chapter here.
I would love that. So we then get into the trip around the Greek islands. Quote, boasting average temperatures of 24°C to 30°C. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, somewhere
warm.
In the
It's
80s,
warm.
90s. In summer, it's therefore likely that spending prolonged periods outdoors may have naturally lightened Kate's hair, giving it a, quote, dyed effect. Then it quotes a freelance stylist who told the Mail, quote, after a sun-soaked holiday in Greece, Kate returned not only with a refreshed spirit, but also with naturally lightened hair.
Pisses me off so bad, because how can you just say that?
Okay. Yeah. First of all, you don't know that she returned with a refreshed spirit. You're supposed to be giving a quote as a freelance stylist who ostensibly has not touched her hair. But this is an entire article about how her hair was naturally lightened.
Wait. I'm sorry. The Daily Mail is so shady, because they quote this hairstylist saying sea air and the sunshine gently lifted her hair to a softer shade. Then Sarah, the hairdresser, believes that Kate's naturally lightened hair led her hairdresser to see an opportunity to go a few shades blonde. Oh my God. This is why they needed 3 reporters on this, just to keep track of the hair timeline that we are creating out of thin air.
It's so crazy that we have to make an entire story. And then I started thinking, why is that? Does being too blonde on Kate seem a little too flashy, a little too Hollywood?
Maybe.
So they're having to say, but it was already so light that, you know, the hairstylist was like, let's just roll with it for a bit. But the other thing, and I brought this up to you, is I don't know if I would change my hair too much if I were Kate for continuity reasons.
Yeah.
For photos, because they can get away with using older photos that people usually don't notice for Kate's many outings or her work with early childhood stuff. I forget education, whatever. So intervention, right? Early childhood intervention. Is that her
early
thing?
Childhood? I don't know what the term is. Early childhood.
She wears pantsuits now, but I just wouldn't have changed the hair drastically. Although, to be fair, we don't know how drastic it is because we're only seeing photos through
a car
windows.
Yeah. And I will say, compared to, like, I do think her hair is lighter compared to pictures of her wearing this same hat in the past. It used to be like the same shade as her hair, and there's clearly like a difference now. It is interesting that pictures through a window are all we have to go on, and we're still like, there are paragraphs and paragraphs of speculation on how this was achieved. Her noticeably lighter hair, like sparking speculation. We're talking about, is she covering grays? Is this because of her summer holidays? Is it because of the heat wave in the UK? Is she, let me see here. Is she subtly refreshing her look for the key moment of the family's public appearance in Scotland? And it's just like, oh my God, can this woman not just live?
It's just a lot. I have to say, I liked the color that she went with. It's because they have a Getty image.
There was
Kate.
like an in-between.
There's an in-between that was kind of a honeyer. It was giving
it was like
old,
the same time
money blonde.
It was the same time like I went in and got mine lightened, and everyone was like, oh my God, you and Kate at the same time. What are the odds? But now she's definitely gone lighter. And
I have to say, it doesn't always work. Like, again, I am also a pale-faced individual like Catherine. We can only go sometimes. Going too blonde actually ages you. Like, I have to say, the one picture we see, I don't love it. And I'm not saying she's like not a beautiful woman, blah, blah, blah. I just don't love
the shade. It's a little, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but it's a little brassy based on what I think she could get professionally done.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
At least how we see it, it does look a little brassy. But also, is this just an excuse to buy more coats? Because when you do change your hair color,
now her tan coats are going to wash her out.
You do need to get different colors. You got to change up your makeup. I'm just saying, we might have more coats. I'm just kidding. But anyway, it's a ridiculous article. My favorite part, though, and someone pointed out this online, is that one of the people who wrote this, her last name is Dye, D-Y-E.
Yes, I saw that.
And someone said, is this written by ChatGPT? Because
no,
if not, inspired.
It really also is just a way to get more coverage of how the royals are spending their late summer break into the press, because it just turns into like, yes, Kate's hair is the lead-in, but by the end of the article, we're talking about how Charles and Camilla marked the 80th anniversary of VJ Day. This is so classic royal coverage.
It feels like we're just layering in stories, and then the next thing that comes up, then the thing under it will be Kate debuted, lighter locks, and all it is to put in even more ad breaks to make even more money, which is why your computer crashes, at least mine does, whenever I open the Daily Mail website, which I think honestly is fair. It's fair.
Yeah, fair enough. As you can probably tell, this is a potpourri episode today. We have quite a few stories to get into, and it's going to be really hard to do through lines for all of them, like good segues, so just bear with us here.
Well, listen, I think we can go, I'm going to say something. I think we can go off hair. Because who has great hair? Justin Trudeau.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. So I wanted to talk about this. It's not necessarily royal adjacent, although I am bringing in my number one coronation guest, Katy Perry, today. Tenuous connection, but it's there. Have you heard the stories about Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau?
I have briefly heard them. I think I saw him at a Katy Perry concert. I was not there. I think I saw a video of him maybe dancing and getting down, but it felt like too much for my brain.
Fair enough. Absolutely fair. This story originated at the end of July, actually, and if I tell you it's already old news and we are already on to like the next chapter of this story, I'm sure you won't be surprised, but I want to bask in this story for just a moment. So Justin Trudeau, former Prime Minister of Canada, and Katy Perry were seemingly an item by the end of July. They were confirmed to have spent about 2 hours at a fine dining restaurant, Le Violon, in Montreal at the end of July. Now, The Guardian spoke to some of the staff. They were told, we got the vibe that they were really chill. They were very comfortable, but there were no visual signs of PDA. Then, of course, pictures and video of the dinner surfaced on social media showing Trudeau and Katy Perry in an animated conversation at the restaurant. This came in the wake of actually pretty recent speculation and then confirmation that Katy Perry and her partner Orlando Bloom had split earlier this summer. All of a sudden, she was stepping out with Justin Trudeau. What do you make of this pairing?
Okay. I just want to understand a world in which they were introduced. I can't understand it. I feel like, obviously she knows Bezos and his wife. Maybe there's got to be something where they all know each other and that's
right,
the connection. I think Justin Trudeau was the only one that saw that Blue Origin launch and said, that's the woman for me. You know what I mean? And maybe that was Bloom's last straw. All I keep thinking about is that Katy Perry, unfairly to the extent, is just being reamed online from the album. I mean, everything. People are being very, very harsh. Some of it, the Blue Origin stuff, maybe warranted some of it, but I just keep thinking, was this one of their maneuvers to try and drum up positive PR or maybe get people to want to go to a concert? Because perhaps Justin Trudeau will be there and all the Trudeau heads will show up,
Dude, yeah, I don't know. In terms of like a pairing, I kind of liked them. I liked thinking maybe Katy Perry was going to step it up, take things a little bit more seriously. She's just gotten out of this. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Beautiful.
She's out of this long relationship. And I personally think that she and Orlando Bloom were broken up for much longer than like before we heard about it. Yeah. Spokespeople for Trudeau and Perry did not respond for requests to comment, of course, on their like first public appearance. But then, yes, he did attend one of her concerts and he brought his daughter, which to me suggests that was a serious, if not relationship, like serious dating relationship. Maybe you're not partners at that point, but you are taking this kind of seriously.
But also, it looks, I don't know, if Justin Trudeau goes to the concert alone, like he's going because they're dating. You know what I mean? I think it would be weird if you did not bring a child to. Although I will say, What do you think Justin Trudeau's favorite Katy Perry song is?
Ooh, I'm gonna say maybe Dark Horse.
Is that the one that talks about space? The one that
That's E.T.
ET. So I think my thing is I think Justin Trudeau, this is not based on anything. This is not serious. Do not sue me. I think that he has a space fetish. Just kidding. But just go
My
with me.
God.
And so his favorite song is ET, right? And then
Sure.
Katy Perry goes into space and he's like, that's my
This is
dream
it.
woman.
This is my woman. Yeah, maybe. Well, it was not to be because according to multiple news outlets on August 21st, the rumored couple split after weeks of constant communication. At the very least, their relationship had cooled off and they were being described as just friends.
We'd say it was no longer a firework.
Okay. I'm going to have you see yourself out. Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Sources were saying they've already parted ways. They've cooled off. She's busy. He's busy. They have a lot going on. I don't know what he has going on. He's no longer the prime minister.
That makes me think, what is he trying to get into that
Yeah, that
being
this-
seen with a pop star
Good
would
question.
be good for his profile? Are we going to see entertainment news from Justin Trudeau? Where are we going with this?
They say, here's the thing. If you're going to be with Katy, you have to deal with the paparazzi and the fallout. I don't know how prepared he was for that. It can be a lot and it can be overwhelming. And another friend said that she wasn't ready to start dating anyone right now. She has to continue to focus on healing and separating from Orlando. So a short-lived story that I held close to my heart for as long as I could, because that's probably one of the most insane things to come out of summer 2025.
My favorite relationship to come out of 2025 is, of course, Pam Anderson and Liam Neeson.
They're
is
so
pure.
cute.
That is gorgeous. I think my heart only had room for one summer romance, and it's that one. And I hope it continues past summer, to be clear.
It's just such a random pairing, but like seeing them together, it makes a lot of sense.
Speaking of not a Katy Perry song, Style. Get it? That's Taylor Swift.
That is Taylor Swift. Good job, Meredith.
Yep. Look, I'm hip with the kids. We are moving into the style pages section. We're going to get into some of the academia. Amanda wrote looks, and we're going to talk more about that. But just to be clear, Amanda, we're about to get into some serious stuff, right?
Yeah, so we're going to segue into more royal news, and this is the lightest of all of the royal stories we have to bring you. I'm going to be giving some content warnings in a couple minutes. This story, it's a little frustrating, but it has a good resolution. The rest of them maybe don't so far. So that's just like we'll put a pin in that. That's what's on the horizon here. But I did want to bring this story in because Princess Elisabeth of Belgium. Have you ever seen her before or seen stories
I have not,
about her?
but I have now seen a photo of her. I mean,
She's so cute. She's so cute.
Adorable.
She's 23 and she has been embarking on her collegiate level studies for a couple years now. She attended some courses at Oxford and there were some great photos released of her at that time. Now she's in the middle of studying at Harvard University.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So she had a student visa, obviously, because she's from Belgium. When the Trump administration put a ban on international students attending classes at Harvard in May, there was immediately some questioning of the Belgian royals, like, is she still going to study there? They were very reluctant to give an answer because it would sort of wade into politics in a really uncomfortable way.
Yeah.
I think understandably. But now we have confirmation from a Belgian royal journalist that Elizabeth is returning to Harvard University. He said all indicators are currently green for her. There are no concrete reasons why she would not be able to return to Harvard in September. I put this in style pages because her Oxford photos are really cute. She had like this checkered blazer on with some jeans in some of those photos. But then last year when she was at Harvard, she was photographed in like wide-legged jeans and this cute tank top, like just giving
her looks are so good. There's also
modern collegiate.
There's one in here where she's wearing opaque tights, a pencil skirt,
Yes.
a white button down, slightly open, and then almost like this very skinny handkerchief
I
tied
think that's
around
from
it.
the Oxford time period.
Yeah,
I think that's
okay.
like one of their uniform
It looks great.
outfits.
I mean, listen, I'm into it. I'm very into that whole uniform.
I
look.
need more royals at college in the style lexicon, and thank goodness her visa was approved that
I know.
she can come back.
I think we need more of this. We also support studying and going to
Yes.
school. It's great. And we really support the look. So if anything, there should be a revolt against not allowing overseas students just so we can get the fashion. So do we think, did she get any preferential treatment, and how does that look?
Good question. So the consensus is no, only because the royal house has kept very quiet on the issue of the visa and the ban on foreign students. The Belgian journalist that is kind of quoted in a lot of this coverage, I think he's the one person that has good connections to the palace. He says, I think the palace is keeping communication understated because they don't want to create a fuss or a scandal. There was a sense back in May when the visas were pulled that Elizabeth would not be seeking preferential treatment. And if push came to shove and she couldn't return, she would just go to online classes or attend a satellite campus. It wasn't going to be that big of a deal. They weren't ever going to pull the royal card. So yeah, obviously
did they are other, and I know I'm asking you this off the, maybe you don't have the answer right now, but are other Belgians going to Harvard, or is it just her?
I don't know specifically about Belgians, but the reason she's allowed to come back to the US is basically that the Trump administration's ruling is being challenged with a lawsuit. So
that makes sense.
Preliminary injunction blocking the visas from being blocked seems to be firm enough that the royals feel comfortable still sending her here.
We are living in the dumbest of times.
It's so dumb, right?
That's all I have to say. The dumbest of times.
Now, I did find interesting as well. Yes, she didn't want preferential treatment here. And actually, the reason she came to the US to study was studying in Belgium was a sensitive issue, as Elizabeth would have had to choose between a Dutch-speaking and a French-speaking university, as well as between a Catholic or a liberal university.
Okay, so there are layers. It's not just...
There are lots of layers.
Which football team do you prefer? Which school are you going to? Are they rivals? It's actually
cultural.
Yeah.
Yes. And her father, King Philippe, also studied in the US. He went to Stanford back in his day. So there is some precedent here.
I'm just kidding. Still an Ivy. Amazing. Just kidding.
Yeah. I love these young women who are getting these degrees in relevant fields to their royal life.
I think it's very
interesting.
Won't name names. We talked about this in the Heirs Around the World thing, but seeing what other countries are doing to prepare a lot of women, actually, a lot of females that are in the position to take over, how they are preparing them for that job and how much of it is actually, understanding the world globally and not just in a global statesman way, but in,
and balancing that with a certain humility of I don't want the special treatment. I want to do things diplomatically, things that are going to position me well to relate to the widest number of people possible. I really love that approach to education.
Something I just thought of, and I don't know everything about all the other royal households to know, but Elizabeth's reign, obviously, was over 70 years, right? I do wonder if, for several reasons, I think other monarchies can pivot and modernize a little more. They're set up differently, whatever. But I do wonder, if Elizabeth had passed earlier and if we had gone through more kings or queens, would it have been more flexible and easier to kind of pivot sooner? Or did Elizabeth's reign kind of hold back that progress? Not saying Elizabeth wasn't great, blah, blah, blah. But did she hold back progress in that way? While other countries, if they have gone through more monarchs recently, have been able to kind of update a little more.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's so much Elizabeth herself as what you've talked about in the past. The idea of Britishness, setting the British royals apart from the rest of Europe. There's that, what's the word I want? Exceptionalism to the British royals.
Yeah.
Do you think that, I don't know, I think that maybe more so than Queen Elizabeth's direct influence.
I think that probably plays a strong role. I also think, and we talked about this in the Heirs Around the World, there's a big difference between abdicating, which has happened, and then the kind of abdicating that happened with King Edward and what happened with that. And just a very different sense of, just staying on the throne for a very long period of time and abdication being a very bad destabilizing thing. Instead of in these other royal households, they've kind of started to create this kind of tradition where, you step down at a certain age so that you can help your child and also enjoy retirement and not have to meet Liz Truss days before you die.
So rough.
That's horrible.
I saw that picture come up on my social media feeds. I'm going off script here.
That's okay.
But somebody was pointing out, remember what her hands look like when she was shaking Liz Truss's hand right before she died? They were all bruised and mottled. Donald Trump just showed up. There were pictures of his hands. They had covered his hand with foundation that was 3 shades too light for him.
It was like, okay, I'm sorry. Are there no we know these people get makeup done. No one could
We don't have
match it
his
to his skin.
Why are we using his winter shade?
It's like he's not a neutral fair base. You know? I looked at that and I
Yeah.
said, "Come on." Yeah, that looked bad.
It looked bad. Anyway, sorry. That was another way that royal photos inserted themselves in my newsfeed recently.
Oh my god, that's wild. So, okay, before we get into the main stories that are going to be taking up most of the remainder of the episode, a quick critics corner because tens of one person said they really really liked it. And for
Tens
that
of
one
people
person,
thought about it.
and for that person, I'm here for you. But you know what? I had a lot of people reach out to me to say they started Andrew Lowney's book entitled, which is about the rise and the fall of the House of York and how, yeah, that last 100 pages. I told you guys that last 100 pages. Well, I found out, and I don't know why. Andrew Lowney follows me on Twitter, sure. And so I reached out to him to say, hey, I have so many questions. And that man offered up his email address. And I said, sorry, sir. This is about to be
I don't
like
think
the
you
worst.
know what's about to happen.
There is about to be punishment because I asked the longest multi-part 10 questions of my life. And I will say to his credit, he graciously answered all of them. He did not, I mean, there's some dodging because of course there is, but he gave some interesting answers on a couple. I have the full back and forth over on my Substack. It's going to be in a link in the show notes. It's free for everyone to read, but a couple of things that he spoke about. And first, I want to say what's interesting about Andrew Lowney is he's a monarchist because I asked him straight up, do you consider yourself a monarchist? Because he doesn't give anti-monarchy vibes. And he says, yeah, but I don't believe in these rogue royals. And in particular, that they shouldn't be able to monetize their royal status for personal financial gain. So I think the argument from him talking about more transparency from the royals in terms of finances, in terms of blocked FOIA requests into Prince Andrew's time as special trade envoy, royal wills. I mean, I think he makes a compelling argument because you can't just say, oh, that's just a republic anti-monarchy guy. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a guy that's like, hey, there still needs to be checks here. This shouldn't be a
Sure.
blanket because he thinks
Because
that
at the end of the day, that makes
good work.
that makes for a
royals do.
stronger system if those checks are in place and if we actually take accountability seriously.
Yeah,
Interesting.
exactly. So one of the things he had to say is that he thinks that there are strong grounds for a parliamentary inquiry into his decade as special representative. Obviously, he also would like to see the wills unsealed. The other thing he says is that what I found most interesting in the book is how he talks about Beatrice and Eugenie, Andrew's daughters, and how often they go on trips with him to the Middle East. So I asked him, I noticed in the book that Beatrice and Eugenie often accompany Andrew on trips, especially to the Middle East. Are they following in their father's footsteps? The press is trying to position them as potential royal ambassadors during William's reign. Given their Middle East business dealing, is that a wise move? And I will read this in full and then we'll be done with this and you can go read the rest. But here's what he had to say. Andrew has transferred his ambitions to his daughters, and there is a huge PR push for them to play a more active role in the slimmed down monarchy. But I think this would be unwise. They accompanied him on many of his taxpayer-funded trips as special representative, with all the extra security costs, and as a result, have built up a useful network of contacts, which they are now exploiting. Only the other day, Beatrice was promoting a bank from the UAE where her father was gifted a palace. Yikes.
Yikes. Big yikes.
So it really made me want to go back and rethink how we are seeing Beatrice and Eugenie positioned in the public. Because my thought was always they want to be so separate from their father. I mean, it would stink to have that kind of parent like hanging over you when you maybe have nothing to do with them. But it actually sounds like they might have more to do with them. And although it makes sense to publicly have distance from him, they might be following in similar footsteps. There's some weird stuff where there's money earmarked as a present for Beatrice's wedding from someone from the UAE. There's a weird bank thing set. I mean,
the cognitive dissonance required to like still think that you occupy the moral high ground. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'll leave that there.
So that's the Critics Corner. And we will have more next week. Also, I finally finished Jo Piazza, who we had on our podcast. I finished her book.
Yeah.
Everyone is lying to you. It's awesome.
It's scrumptious.
I can't wait to talk about it. But that's the Critics Corner.
Let's talk about that next week. And I also wanted to say I teased this on social media. I'm diving into a book about the royals as well. This is a biography of Princess Margaret that comes out on September 9th. It is Princess Margaret and the Curse, an inquiry into a royal life. This is by Meryl Seacrest, who is a distinguished biographer. She's previously written biographies on Elsa Schiaparelli, Stephen Sondheim, Frank Lloyd Wright, Kenneth Clark, and Bernard Berenson.
Okay, I have to read the Elsa Schiaparelli one.
One of her first books was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize, and she's received a White House medal.
Oh.
So she's like a no-joke biographer. This book, what it is, you might have seen this in the news a couple weeks ago as press started going out for this biography. It's the book that claims Princess Margaret had fetal alcohol syndrome. Like that's the most concise summary I can give. It talks about the Queen Mother drinking during her pregnancy with Princess Margaret. She did not drink during her pregnancy with Queen Elizabeth II because she had severe bouts of morning sickness. And the author really wants you to know that's the only reason she didn't drink while she was pregnant with the future queen. It was just the morning sickness. And so it's supposedly rigorously researched. She goes into letters between Elizabeth and her doctor, family members, just painting this picture of a, quote, hard drinking daughter of a famous Scottish family. She had relatives that were like really into alcohol culture, and she traces it from there to paint this picture of how Margaret's life might have been affected by her mother's drinking while she was pregnant.
And just maybe being around it, because Margaret was known for throwing them back and even trying to come up with an apparatus so she could have a drink and her cigarette holder in the same hand.
It's just this culture.
We love innovation, but
this culture is one that we like try to downplay when it comes to the royals. But like, I'll be really interested to see where it intersects with like episodes from royal life that we know really well. But like, is there a quote unquote darker side to them? So the claims in the book are, people with fetal alcohol syndrome are characteristically emotional. Their skeletal systems are very fragile, so they often don't grow to be very tall, which is true of Margaret. I think she topped out at like 5 foot, 5'2", something like that. She writes, they remain subject to sudden tantrums, rages, poor judges of character, and are particularly prone to run and hide, as Margaret tried to do all her life. They may be as intelligent and gifted as she was, but mulish and fly into a rage. They are, it turns out, exactly like the person she became. So I'll be interested to dive in, see what, apparently, like her research is legendary, this biographer. I'll be interested to see what she's uncovered, how she comes to that conclusion. And I'm in touch with the publisher, like the PR firm representing this book. So if we have questions, I might be able to send some as well.
That would be very cool. I definitely want to hear what you think about how she gets to the fetal alcohol syndrome.
Right. Because like my question would be, did you start with this conclusion in mind? Because if so, I have questions about that being your process. Or as you were researching her for just a biography, did this keep sticking out to you? Which way did you form the conclusion would be my question. Because if you're, say, an archaeologist and you're digging, like, I'm going to find Noah's Ark. Well, like, of course, any evidence you find that like could be evidence of Noah's Ark, you're going to say, oh, look, it's evidence of Noah's Ark. That's kind of where I come from, that school of thought when it comes to big claims like this. So that's the backdrop I will be reading this biography against. Again, that is Princess Margaret and the Curse, an inquiry into a royal life. Okay. So more on that next week. Our main story today, I do want to give a content warning at the top of for sexual assault and I would just say general non-consent. We are going to be talking about Princess Katarina Amalia of the Netherlands, who has been the victim of a deep fake attack of a sexual nature. So this was a really, really insidious story, but I do think we should talk about it because, AI and all of this stuff, it's going to continue becoming an issue unless we address it head on as a society. It's already affecting people in the upper echelons of the literal royals. The story here, as reported in the Daily Beast, not by Tom Sykes. It's pretty comprehensive. So this is what I'm basing my analysis on here. They tell us Princess Amalia, the heir to the Dutch throne, has been the victim of a deepfake porn attack in which her face was edited over the bodies of porn actors using artificial intelligence. These were then uploaded to the website Mr. Deepfakes, among others. Now, Amalia is 21 years old. Yeah. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is collaborating with Dutch authorities to remove the websites, which has also circulated videos of about 70 other Dutch women. So far, I don't think any arrests have been made. And this is not the first time that this has happened to Amalia. She was subjected to a similar attack 3 years ago in 2022. So that would have been when she was just 18.
Wait, was she also the princess that they were afraid was going to be kidnapped?
Yes.
My God, why
I
does
know.
everything happen to this woman?
I know. I feel so bad for her. We did talk about this a few weeks ago as well in our Heirs Around the World episode. She is the one who had to be pulled out of university in the Netherlands. She lived for a time with the Spanish royals because of threats on her life from organized crime groups. So, yeah. Now, in her studies, she did channel that first experience being subjected to this sort of attack into her thesis, her undergraduate thesis, which bravo. Like,
yes.
I love that. The thesis was titled Beyond Disclosure, Bridging the Gap Between the Artificial Intelligence Act and the Charter of Fundamental Human Rights with Deepfaked Bodies. This was for her undergraduate degree at the University of Amsterdam.
Sounds relevant.
Now, she did also finish her degree in politics, psychology, law, and economics, and she is going on this fall to study law. So I'm not sure exactly where she's going for that. Maybe we're not supposed to know. But she is not done with her studies.
Maybe they're keeping that undercover for a reason.
At this point, I would. Yeah.
I always find it. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I always find it so admirable. And not that it's not admirable for people who go through something and decide, I don't want to speak about this again. I don't want it to be a focus. It was very traumatic. But it is very cool that she decided to take this head on and say, not only am I going to address it, I'm going to write a paper about it. I'm clearly going to learn more about it and understand it. And I'm going to go to law school, which maybe had always been the idea, but she's also going to then learn more about the law around this. So it's very impressive because even though if it's a deep fake, I can't imagine how embarrassing and
the instinct would be shame, which if you're a victim of an attack like this, I don't think you need to feel any shame because you didn't do anything wrong. And it's so easy now to fake these kinds of images. Like I don't even have kids yet. And I'm already thinking like, okay, I'm not going to put their faces anywhere on the internet publicly because this sort of thing is becoming more prevalent. And with Amalia especially, it has this darker undertone because her body has been the subject of public criticism for so long. She now, I would say, is a straight size, but for a lot of her time in the public eye, she was more on the plus size side of things, I would say. And I say that as a plus size woman. And she received a lot of criticism, unwarranted. She's, for most of this time, an underage girl for just how her body looks, how she's presenting herself. And now it's following her into adulthood. Again, all of the props to her for taking that into her studies, like you said, seeking to understand it more, because this is going to be an issue that sadly continues as maybe she becomes monarch.
People shouldn't even feel shame if they have recorded consensual videos or pictures of themselves that end up on the internet. Because that also wasn't, there is so much shame tied to it. And it is scary how it feels like, and in many ways, laws are not keeping up with how fast and rapidly technology is changing and developing, which makes it really scary. And it's really scary to not know what to trust when you open up the internet. I mean, I find that more and more and more where it's just like, I don't believe anything because everything feels like it could be AI and pictures are getting better and all of that. So, I mean, I think it's really admirable that she's using her platform. This happened to me and I am going to talk about it and bring attention to it. It's just, what is wrong with people?
What is wrong with people?
This?
Yeah. And it'll be really interesting if the perpetrators are caught and brought to justice to see what they're sentenced with. The backdrop of her studies has been bridging the gap between the artificial intelligence that's emerging and fundamental human rights. Like there's a gap there right now. And I found it interesting. I actually ended up on a Reddit thread as I was researching for this, talking about this story. And people were speculating over the sentence that could be, given for a crime like this. And actually, the Netherlands recently abolished something called lèse majesté. Have you ever heard of this, legal principle? It's basically a legal principle that if you insult a monarch, you can be charged just for that. Until 2020 in the Netherlands, you could be charged, like in 2007, for example, a 47-year-old man was sentenced to a week in prison and 400 euros as a fine for calling the former queen, Beatrix, a whore and making other sexual comments about her.
Jesus.
But that was like just because she was a royal, that was illegal.
Okay.
So in 2020, they abolished this legal principle. The law against insulting the monarch or their family is now at the same level as it would be with regular people. So you have to like prove it as you would with a regular case. They don't get special treatment. Right. And there's somebody in this Reddit thread being like, I think lèse majesté should apply here. This person should get the death penalty. And it's just like, I don't know if we need to go that far, but like we do need to grapple with this as a society. But I think the fact that she's a royal, yes, it adds this layer, but like, I don't think we need to go back to the death penalty, my guy.
I don't need, I don't think guillotine is the answer. But I also think about how many people have experienced deepfakes that are not famous, that do not have a high profile, and how do they move through it?
Right.
You know?
It still affects, every aspect of your life. You're always going to be wondering if a certain person's seen it, like what do they think of me?
If you have to bring it up, how you address it, how you address it in a way so it'll go away. I mean, it just it's horrible.
Yeah.
Leave
Leave Amalia alone. We love her.
God.
And for our second story under this content warning, we do need to talk about a follow-up in
Oh God, not this guy.
This guy.
Not like evil or Draco Malfoy.
Yeah, I have more information on his case. Marius Borg Høiby, who is the stepson of the Crown Prince of Norway, has been charged with 32 offenses, including the rape of 4 different women, domestic abuse of a former partner, and illegally filming a number of women, including their genitals without consent. So we did discuss this in more detail a couple weeks ago. Again, the 32 charges that could have been brought against him, it seems like he's officially been charged with them now. So a 6-week trial is set to go ahead in January 2026. I don't know. I cannot speak to whether that will actually take place because I would imagine is still room to settle, although I'm sure the amount of women involved in these charges complicates that a little bit. We did get a little bit more information into what Marius is charged with. So he's alleged to have raped 4 women between 2018 and November 2024 when his arrest took place. All of the alleged assaults allegedly took place between him and the victims after consensual sex while the women were sleeping.
God.
Yeah. He's also accused of filming all of the encounters as they were happening without the women's knowledge. Several of the women involved didn't know that they'd been assaulted until the police showed them the videos that this guy had recorded.
That's horrifying. I can't.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and this is just my opinion, the maximum sentence for this would be 10 years in prison under current law. So again, I'm not super familiar with the ins and outs of the Norwegian legal system, but that's the consensus that I've seen. The maximum he could get would be 10 years served. And then maybe there could be some, I think they call it committal charges, like house arrest, basically, tacked onto that. But
I just wonder, how do you rehab someone like that? How do you rehab someone like that? I don't know.
Yeah. And his history with the legal system, it goes farther back beyond 2018.
He clearly has deep-seated issues. This is not like a one-off thing. Not that would make it excusable. One time is too many, but it's something deeper. And I think we talked about the fact that his mother maybe protects him or babies him a bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, because that's where it's alleged that he gets his, financial means from. When he was in court being charged with these crimes, the Crown Prince actually gave a statement to the press. I think it was outside the court, but don't quote me on that. Basically, the royal house wants to distance themselves from this case, as you would. But as his stepfather, Crown Prince Haakon did give a statement, which I think was appropriate. It's a little disappointing if you're interested in actual justice. He says it's now up to the courts to do their job and that everyone involved in the case probably finds it challenging and difficult. You don't say.
I love when we pass the buck. And I am so sorry to these victims who are kind of his subjects, right?
I would assume so, yeah.
So if they're all from, but
trying to say nothing and offend no one comes off worse to me.
I think it doesn't make anybody happy, but it's hard not to see parallels between how Elizabeth protected Prince Andrew.
Yeah,
Even
sure.
thinking back to the suit that was filed by Virginia Giuffre that was settled out of court, because what would have been worse is if that thing had gone to trial.
Yeah.
And what would have been worse was everything else that would have potentially come out. Now, in this case, there are a lot of charges.
Yes. Some
and
of
they
them are
criminal charges, not,
exactly.
and so this is different.
They're criminal charges, and some of them are against the police. Like, he's accused of assaulting police officers. So, like, I don't know if that's going
Not
to go
great.
away.
Not great.
Even if some of the women take a settlement, even if he takes a plea deal, like, I think this will still go to trial. Marius does, quote, deny the most serious accusations against him, but his lawyer says he plans to plead guilty to lesser charges when the trial starts.
I do wonder if they're going to try to do a settlement where
Or some
he
kind of
says
deal. Yeah.
some kind of deal, because even though he's kind of part of the royal family, but not really, you know what I mean? They still, I don't know. In some ways, though, you can look at him as, at least I don't know anything about this family, an aberration from the norm. And this was a son from a previous marriage. And so, maybe you do allow it to go to trial. You do allow it to, but it feels like his mother would not want that to happen.
The problem with
I don't
that
know.
is it would so quickly become a reflection of her, and we would get taken back to when she married Haakon and married into the royal family. At the time, there wasn't too much like eyebrow raising at her background. We'll have to do a deep dive at some point.
God, we have to, yeah.
But like Marius, she was a single mother. He was conceived out of wedlock, but she was like with one man. Like, she was partnered to one man at the time, but the father was somebody else, and the guy she was with, like, was arrested for chasing her with a knife while she was pregnant with Marius. So, like, I think it's a slippery slope, right? If you pick at that one thread of this guy, how quickly does it come back to reflect on her, who she is the future queen of Norway?
Man,
and I just think opening the doors.
Harry marrying a divorced American.
And if you forgot, this is also the brother, the crown prince is the brother to Martha Louise, who married Shaman Durek last year. There is a Netflix documentary coming out soon.
My God, that might be a Patreon episode. We do need to do a deep dive at some point, because I am fascinated by these people.
Yeah. Last thing I will say is the charges against Marius Høiby came out a day before his mother, Mette Marit's 52nd birthday, which made for a very confusing timeline of royal stories on my social media. There was a lot of, yay, Norway royals, boo, Norway royal, like just one after the other in my feed. And it was just like, what is going on here?
It makes me think of when, I forget exactly what happened with Prince Andrew, but he did something, right? Whether it was Epstein, whether it was the interview, I forget what it was, but basically it ruined Beatrice's wedding, and she ended up having to have a small.
Was that the reason?
Yeah, that's why she had a small wedding, was because they were
the
not
COVID
going to
wedding.
do this elaborate wedding. Andrew had brought shame, was the big reason.
And it eventually got like a lot of good press because it was also COVID, but like, you're right, they would have just done it.
That was not the wedding that she was planning, let's just say.
Interesting. Did Andrew Lowney tell you that?
He did. It's in his book, actually. So just FYI. Okay, what if we end on something light?
Yes, please. And I'll put a timestamp so people can tune back in after that section if they would like to.
Okay, quickly becoming my new favorite segment is what was that headline? This one comes from the Daily Express US.
Okay.
You ready?
Please.
Archie and Lily's American accents branded a symbolic fracture to the Windsor soundtrack.
I'm sorry, we're talking about toddlers, correct?
Toddlers and tiaras and those accents. Those damn American accents.
Oh my God.
Exclusive. Archie and Lily's American accents will be a constant reminder of the heartbreak Harry and Meghan caused when leaving the royal family. Family is not spelled right. It's missing an L.
Family.
Says expert.
Can I read this? Can I please read this first paragraph?
Yes.
I just want to be involved. When Prince Harry and Meghan Markle moved to the U.S. in 2020, King Charles didn't just lose his son and daughter-in-law. He lost his grandchildren. And he would like them back before their American accents are permanent, says one royal expert. No. Okay.
He has the best quote about this. Quote, he's very much a family person. This is Charles. And it must be annoying for him.
Whoa. Hang on.
What?
We have to have a Mr. of Fact news break because you just opened my door.
Mr. of Fact news break. Hi. Oh my God. Hi.
She's saying hi. Oh. We interrupt this stupid story with a genuine breaking news item.
A minute ago, NFL just released Taylor Swift got engaged.
Wait, what?
She's engaged.
NFL just said that?
Yeah.
Wait, the NFL broke that news.
This is such...
Look it up. That's how I found out.
This is such a chaotic interview.
Where are you seeing this?
True. Where are you seeing this?
It just happened.
Oh, yeah, it did. Okay, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce announced engagement on
news.
social media.
What?
See?
Wait.
There's pictures.
Wait, where are the pictures?
3 minutes ago.
Oh my God.
She captioned an Instagram post, your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married.
Wait. Where is this?
Wow, look at that ring.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Oh.
I thought I'd be okay interrupting for that.
Oh my God. No, you win the internet. Oh
yes.
My God. This is going to break the internet. Okay. So the ring.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Thank you. Okay. The ring is in a
podcast about something different than what you were just talking about.
British American accents being bad.
Goodbye. All right.
Shoot.
News.
And now my super sleuth Amy is texting me.
Oh my
this is
God.
too much for her. Okay. So it looks
Thoughts
like
and prayers for the Taylor Swift style page because
thoughts and prayers for everyone. So okay, it's a gold setting, it looks like, with maybe some little diamonds
like a
on
bezel.
The side. It looks like a bezel. It's a huge stone.
Maybe not a bezel.
What do you think that is? Like
25,
6 carats?
I'm gonna say 6.
You're gonna say 6? Okay.
Well, good for her.
Damn, girl. That's a nice ring.
I'm so happy for her.
I am happy for her. He seems like a simple man, but a nice man.
This is going to break the internet. So this story was posted 3 minutes ago, and it already has 1.4 million likes. You heard it here first, but not really, because this is a day later.
My God, I'm not going to lie.
That's
I'd be
insane.
really, really pissed if I was Meghan's team.
No, stop. You just know someone's going to say, and she wouldn't go on Meghan's podcast, and she announced her engagement on the same day.
And to be clear, I don't think the girlies are fighting. I don't mean that. I just mean purely if it's from a business standpoint and I want my client to dominate the media news cycle. You know what I mean? Her show, her launch.
Yeah.
I don't want Taylor Swift getting engaged on the same day. That's all. I'm not saying people aren't happy. I'm happy for her too.
I'm looking at these pictures. I am so happy for her. These look so cute.
They are. Oh, these pictures are so
I like
adorable.
that Shane was like, the NFL announced it. It's like, not quite, but I admire the spirit.
Breaking news from the NFL. Yeah, she looks, I mean, I have to say, I don't know a ton about Taylor Swift and her dating history besides her songs and stuff, but this woman has been through it. And it's just nice to see that after all of that, you know, she found her person and she left
her,
situations that weren't good for her. So long, London. Hello, Cleveland.
Darkness, my old friend.
Where is he from? Where does he play? Kansas City?
You got it. Kansas City.
Cleveland. Hello, Cleveland. No, this is adorable. I bet you whatever that dress is, people are going to figure it out and that's going to sell out. Oh, probably linen set is what I'm
guessing. Do you think it's
guessing.
Hill House?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Good for her.
I mean, I'm going to assume that he had a lot of help with this, but the vibe is perfect. I mean, sorry, the music keeps playing.
Yeah.
Taylor.
So high school. Okay,
Congratulations, Taylor.
Congratulations, Taylor. This is one news update that we will allow to interrupt our recording.
This was great. This has been such a chaotic episode. So much. It's so funny. We're going to record Tuesday because then we'll get Monday out of the way and then everything be breaking today.
Anything else we need to add in here before we go?
Oh my God. Yeah,
over these pictures.
Listen, all I'm going to say is the accent article is stupid. We were interrupted.
Yeah,
I have nothing else to say. I'm in shock.
It's dumb, and that's what we feel about
I now have
that.
to go look at every picture and every little detail that we get about, Tree Payne was up there, and she was like, Travis, we are going to set this up right. Because he's probably like, what about Chuck E. Cheese? And she's like, no, Travis. He's like, my brother can get the photo. She's like, no. We need to get these on film. We need them to have the granular in it. Just trust me. I'll help you with this. But great job on the ring. I mean, I can't really see it because it's blurry, but it's beautiful.
I feel like that's all that matters with an engagement ring, though, because most people will only ever see the impression of it, which is why I am comfortable with my illusion setting ring.
What do you mean? What's an illusion setting?
So the diamond itself is actually really small. It's a 1/2 carat because it was a Great Depression era ring, but it looks bigger because of the setting that's around it.
It does look like it's a carat.
You always thought I had a carat. No.
Listen, I'm not judging your carats. But I did not know what an illusion setting was. And now I do.
I feel like that's like, I don't know. Engagement rings, I think, are meant to be perceived in the short term, not like zoomed in on. That's just my hot take.
I agree. And I love it too because, for example, we saw Cristiano Ronaldo got engaged.
Too big.
I hated it. It is huge. You can't
wear
that.
Are you going to wear that?
You can't wear it. Like Taylor's at least looks like a ring that it looks like it's protected
over 30.
enough. It just, at that point, it's like, what are we doing here? Like Taylor's is big, but it feels personal.
Well, with Cristiano Ronaldo and his fiancé, Georgina Rodriguez, the thing with that ring is like she waited. She has put in the years. I'm happy for her. Would I want it? No. And do I think that this is another conversation we could have on the Patreon? The rise in synthetic diamond rings is leaving people with these like really gaudy pieces that they can't actually wear anywhere. I don't know.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
I'm not here saying like natural diamonds only, but like we can go bigger, but should we?
Yeah, on the one hand, it's great if you want to go that route of a lab-grown diamond, but you don't necessarily need to go that big.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said synthetic, lab-grown, because it's still a diamond.
I got you. But yeah, no, it's like we always take things too far. As a
society.
I feel like from what I see of Taylor's ring, I think she could do dishes in it if she ever had to do a dish.
It's kind of giving
she could do a dish.
The Diana ring, like you could wear that day to day if you wanted to. It's a statement piece for
Good
sure.
Choice, Travis.
Yeah. All right. Well, what an unexpected turn.
Wow, I'm exhausted.
Before we go, we have to thank our Patreon press secretaries who would never allow Taylor Swift's engagement announcement to coincide with the second season of our Netflix show. You would be on that. And we are thanking Molly, Nikki, Lulu, and Jessica. And of course, a special shout out to our crown jewel, Sir Christopher
of the Order of the Garter of the Baby's Breath, who interrupted our recording. He didn't, but I saw it pop up on my phone that he got the marmalade. So he is a lady marmalade.
He got the marmalade.
And he's got it. Christopher's got it. So
is the marmalade still in stock?
Okay, let's do a quick check now that
It is.
Interesting. But we're told that that's a good thing because they're scaling up.
So much is happening. I got a new book announcement from Sasha Payton Smith. I got Taylor and Travis. I got Meghan saying Prince Harry got her a framed picture of her dog, Guy.
That was cute. I felt that. This is a lot going on. I literally
going on at the moment.
I feel like though Taylor Swift just gave me an excuse to not do any of the royal work I was going to do today.
Your shirt kind of matches her dress.
I have something to admit. I planned that whole thing.
You orchestrated it.
I actually let the NFL know.
I'm kicking my feet.
That's how Shane would find out about it and then break the story. I did that. It was a hairy situation. I just tied it back into
you mastermind.
Hair, although a different kind of way. Did it.
We did it, folks. We landed this plane. It was a little shaky there at the end.
Listen, no wings fell off, okay?
Well,
it was pretty good.
Yeah. All right. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you didn't, I don't know what to tell you. A lot was going on today. So
we're doing our best. But if you loved it, please leave a 5-star review over on Apple and tell us why you like it, and we might read them on air.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.